Picture this, your brand new electric car breaks down. You call for a tow truck, look for a repair shop, and silence. Very few mechanics in the US have the expertise to deal with the complex technology of electric vehicles. And those who do, my friend, charge a price that reflects the rarity of their skills. Welcome to the first nightmare of EV owners, the lack of specialized mechanics, a chronic problem that drags on and makes maintenance incredibly expensive. The ads show futuristic cars with simple, almost non-existent maintenance. But the American reality is quite different. Electric car technology, while promising, is complex. High-voltage systems, state-of-the-art batteries, software that looks like secret codes. All of this requires specific knowledge that, unfortunately, is still scarce in the country. While countries like China are investing heavily in training and qualification, the US is moving at a slower pace. Courses are few, spaces are limited, and the demand for qualified professionals is growing exponentially. BYD, a growing presence, might offer some training, but demand is far greater. And the other automakers? Some are trying, but the effort is still timid. The result? The consumer is at the mercy of dealerships, which don't always have specialized technicians or independent shops, which sometimes lack the proper tools and knowledge.
And when the problem is with the battery, the heart of the electric car, get your wallet ready. In many cases, the only solution is a complete battery replacement, which can cost more than half the vehicle's value. A real financial blow. In addition, the lack of standardization of components and constant technological evolution further complicate the work of mechanics. A simple repair can turn into a saga, with long waits for parts and inaccurate diagnoses. The lack of specialized mechanics isn't just a matter of cost, but also of safety. Dealing with high-voltage systems without proper knowledge is dangerous, both for the professional and for the vehicle owner. So, are you going to risk your life and your wallet due to a lack of qualified labor? Top 4. The complexity of technology. A ticking time bomb of problems. Cars are sold as symbols of simplicity and efficiency. But behind the futuristic design and the promise of an emissions-free future lies a technological complexity that can turn into a real headache. And that's our second crucial point, the complexity that transforms high technology into a potential ticking time bomb of problems. Forget the relative simplicity of a combustion engine. In electric cars, everything is interconnected. Battery, electric motor, energy management system, regenerative braking, onboard computer, driver assistance systems. An orchestra of electronic components that need to work in perfect harmony. And when one is out of tune, my friend, the music can stop playing. BYD, Rivian, Lucid, and other brands invest heavily in cutting-edge technology. Sensors, advanced software, autonomous driving systems, all of this to offer a superior driving experience. But the truth is, the more complex the system, the greater the likelihood of failures. And software bugs? Well, those are a whole other story. Software updates are constant, promising fixes and improvements, but in practice, they don't always work as expected. Often, the owner needs to take the car to the dealership to fix the problem, losing time and, in some cases, even money. And it doesn't stop there. The integration between the different systems is so intricate that a small failure in one component can affect the operation of the entire vehicle. Imagine being stranded on the road because the battery management system decided to go on strike. Not a pleasant scenario. Complexity in itself is not the villain. The problem is that often this complexity doesn't translate into reliability. And when the electric car has a problem, diagnosis and repair can be a real challenge, requiring specific knowledge and state-of-the-art tools. And as we saw in the previous topic, the lack of qualified professionals further exacerbates the situation. Top 3. Rapid depreciation and the used market. An uncertain future. You invested your savings, took out a loan, and realized the dream of owning an electric car. But what about when it's time to trade it in? Get ready for the third shock. Electric cars, despite all their technological and environmental appeal, are still a novelty in the automotive market. And like any novelty, they face consumer distrust. Limited range, especially in entry-level models, the still developing charging infrastructure, and above all, doubts about durability and reliability contribute to a more pronounced depreciation than that of combustion cars. In the US, this scenario is even more complicated. The charging infrastructure isn't universally robust, the range of the most affordable models isn't ideal for long trips, and the lack of specialized mechanics, as we've already seen, scares used car buyers. The result? Electric cars lose resale value much faster than internal combustion cars, making them a risky investment. BYD, Rivian, and other brands are trying to mitigate this devaluation by offering extended warranties for the battery and other components, as well as buyback programs. But these measures, while welcome, aren't enough to completely reassure consumers. After all, who wants to buy a used car that might have expensive and difficult-to-solve problems, even with a warranty? And what happens to electric cars that are in accidents, even minor ones? Often, insurance companies opt for a total loss. This is because the repair cost, especially if it involves the battery, is so high that it's not worth fixing. The owner who invested heavily in the vehicle is left with a huge loss. The used electric car market in the U.S. is uncertain terrain. There isn't enough consolidated data to accurately predict how these vehicles will behave in the long run. One thing is certain. If you buy an electric car thinking about reselling it in a few years, be prepared for a possible significant depreciation. Top 2. Lack of infrastructure, a barrier to popularization. You've finally succumbed to the charms of the electric car, reasonable range, modern design, cutting-edge technology. But what about when it's time to recharge? Get ready for the fourth major challenge, the lack of charging infrastructure. A barrier that makes life difficult for electric car owners in the U.S. and limits the expansion of this technology. The promise of a future with electric cars circulating freely on the streets and highways of the U.S. runs into a crucial problem, the lack of public charging points. The network of charging stations is still small, poorly distributed, and in many cases precarious. Traveling long distances by electric car in much of the country is an adventure that requires planning, patience, and a good dose of luck. BYD and other automakers, aware of this bottleneck, have invested in partnerships with energy companies and shopping malls to expand the charging network, but the pace of expansion is still slow, far short of what's needed, and in the meantime, electric car owners struggle to find a suitable place to charge their vehicles. Picture the scene. You're in the middle of a trip, your electric car's battery is running low, and you need to find a charging station. You check the app, find a nearby point, but it's occupied. Or worse, it's broken. Frustration is inevitable, and it doesn't stop there. The lack of standardization of connectors is another problem. Each brand uses a different type of plug, which makes life difficult for the user, who needs to find a charger compatible with their vehicle. The lack of infrastructure isn't just a problem for those who travel. Even in large cities, finding an available and functioning charging point is not always easy. Many charging stations are located in shopping malls and private parking lots, with limited operating hours and high fees. The solution to this problem requires massive investment in infrastructure, both from the government and the private sector. It's necessary to create a broad, reliable, and accessible charging network so that electric cars can, in fact, become a viable alternative for the majority of Americans. Top 1. Reliability in question. A worrying reality. We've reached the crucial point, the best-kept secret of the electric car industry: reliability. Are these vehicles, so praised for their technology and sustainability, really reliable? Get ready for the fifth and most impactful topic, the reliability of electric cars in question, a reality that might make you rethink your choice. Consumer Reports, one of the most respected consumer advocacy organizations in the United States, released a survey that raised a red flag. Electric cars have, on average, 80% more reliability problems than internal combustion cars, a frightening number, which casts doubt on the durability and quality of these vehicles. And in the U.S., the situation is not much different. Although we don't have surveys as comprehensive as Consumer Reports, reports from electric car owners reveal a series of problems: electric motor failures, battery problems, charging system defects, software bugs, bodywork problems. The list is extensive. Some newer EVs have experienced significant problems, and other brands like Tesla face ongoing scrutiny. The truth is that electric car technology, while promising, is still relatively new and constantly evolving. Manufacturers are in a race to launch new models with more range, more technology, and more attractive designs. But often, this pursuit of innovation ends up neglecting the quality and reliability of the vehicles. Reliability is a determining factor in choosing a car, and in the case of electric cars, this issue is even more sensitive due to the high repair costs, the lack of specialized mechanics, and the complexity of the technology. If you are thinking of buying an electric car, research extensively, compare models, read reports from other owners, and be prepared for possible problems. The dream of the electric car can become a nightmare if reliability is not taken seriously. Electric cars represent an undeniable advance in terms of technology and sustainability. But, as we have seen, the reality in the U.S. still presents significant challenges. The lack of specialized mechanics, the complexity of the technology, the rapid depreciation, the precarious charging infrastructure, and the questionable reliability are factors that need to be considered before making the purchase decision. The future of mobility may be electric, but the path to it requires caution, information, and, above all, realism. So, what do you think of these truths about electric cars in the U.S.? Share your opinion, your doubts, and your experiences in the comments. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to receive more content like this. See you next time.